hao, bonjour, hello. And so we are very pleased to welcome our partners of the Digital Art Center of Taipei Foundation Festival 2. And the artist here with me, that's Xingyu, she's a wonderful coordinator of international relationship. Then we have Wang Fuji, who is going to perform hyper-transmission audiovisual performance at the end of the presentations. We also have Chang Yung-ta, Yao Chung-Han, and Wang Chung-Kun. Excuse my accent. all those artists are part of the City Sonic Festival. They were selected in agreement with our partners of the Digital Art Center of Taipei, with the support of the Ministry of Taiwan Culture. So we thank them really. And the good news is that it's a real exchange. It means that in November we will have Belgian artists selected by Transcultures at City Sonic going to, in mid-November, to the Digital Art Festival of Taipei. And some artists are here with us too. So we are very happy that this well-known Digital Art Center can be presented here at City Sonic, and Xingyu is going to present what it is about, for those who don't know. And then we will have concrete presentations in the installations of the Maison et Design, House of Design, just nearby, finishing by the audiovisual performance by Fujiman. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, I'm Xingyu Ye from Digital Art Center, Taipei, also Digital Art Foundation, and here I will quickly go through the slides to show some pictures of the art center to show you. And yeah, we were founded in 2009, and besides the exhibition we are featuring, we are aiming to have some art research and development and experimentation of the digital art. So you can see there are some programs from the screen, art also, experiment also, promotion. And here we have, yeah, you can see the images of the spaces. It's the first floor and the second floor office. And here are some images of the exhibition before. Also, we have the annual event, the biggest event of Digital Art Fest for Taipei since 2006. It's going to be the 10th year this year. And there are some images of the festival. And we also have some interdisciplinary collaboration to build like a interactive installation work. And also we have Fab Lab in our art center, just like here. And there are some images of the workshop. And we also have international projects that we have collaboration with Graham in Lyon as residency project.
They came here also.
Yeah. And here we are going to the artists of their works in here. So we will start from Yao of his work.
Hi, 大家好. Hello. My piece, after this lecture, I think we will go to my space, but I guess couldn't see this piece because the same venue is prepared my live performance, so temporarily shut down. So basically, it's like I control the traditional light and LED with sound, and I use the traditional light. Traditional light is for me, it's very beautiful because it's very imprecise. When we turn on the power, usually it needs 3 seconds, 4 seconds, will totally bright. And I very enjoy the first 3 seconds because it's very imprecise, but also someone told broken, but for me, I think it's the language from itself. It's very beautiful for me. Yeah. So my performance also combine the laser, LED, and traditional that you will see later. Thank you.
Hello, thanks for coming, and later I will give you an introduction of the detail of my work. And so here I will just briefly talk about the concept of this serious project. And relative perception is it's a kind of question because I'm not sure because I'm not living in Europe for a long time, but I live in Taiwan, and it's really busy, and everything is in accelerate speed. So everything is very fast. We eat fast, and we think fast, and we read or watch or anything really fast. So even when you get into the museum or the gallery, audience they didn't spend time on experience the space or the installation, even the video artwork. So I want people to slow down their tempo when they are experiencing or watching video work or experience the installation. So this installation is time-based kind of sculpture or sound installation, because every day the condition of the work is continuing different, and because I drop the water on a heating iron, so every day the water will make some roost on the plant. So till the end of the exhibition, the iron will totally different since it's beginning of the exhibition. So the pattern will looks like some kind of abstract painting. So, and this time in Mons, the water, I think it's a little bit different between Taiwan. As you see that you can see many white pattern already on it, because the scale of the water is much higher than Taiwan. So I'm looking forward the end of the exhibition, how it will look like. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi everyone. This time I bring. This time I bring full suitcase at the exhibition, and I think I really love music, and I really love something can make sound. I also know a lot of instruments because I like to make something can make sound. So these 4 pieces, I try to I try to spend a lot of experiments the way to making sound, and I find some way to making sound. So I put my invention into the box, into the suitcase, and before this I use my instrument for the performance, and this time I put my instrument into the box, and and I make some reaction with people. I use some sensor to sense people coming, so the box will interactive with people, and I write some program to randomly choose some patterns or some beats to make sound.
As this one is reference from the pipe organ, it's made by wood, but I made some change because I don't want this in here like a real organ pipe. So I made some change, and the other one, this one is called noise box. Noise box is reference from a machine called a phonograph. Phonograph is to recording sound and the playback the real sound. But this one I reversed the idea. I use different gas to generate sound, and this is for me is very interesting because audience can switch on the button, and the machine will start opening and start moving around and make some noise, and a period of time it will finish by itself and close by itself. Maybe wait and see. And next one, this is called woodfish. Woodfish is the first piece I made in 2004, and actually this one is made last year. So I made some change for the woodfish. So the woodfish, just like it's just like a living object. So just like emotion, it can, when you come across the woodfish will appear. And this one is a new one I made for this exhibition. This is just like the string music, string instrument. And later I will use that suitcase for the performance. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Fuji, but you can call me Fuji. It's much more easy to pronounce. Yeah, and today I will perform called transmission. Yeah, I had performed this piece in Transmedia in Berlin and Tonlagen Festival in Dresden, and also Arts Electronica Center in Linz, and also this year in Casino Luxembourg. Yeah, but this is my first time
In Belgium.
Yeah, in Belgium. Yeah, and I also change a little bit. Yeah, I usually use 2 directional speaker because the equipment is too heavy. And this time I bring my assistant, so we use 4 directional speakers. So I think today's performance will be much better than before. Yeah, and yeah, it's a directional speaker. Yeah, it's a each speaker have a motor to rotate the speaker, so we'll create a very special sound space. Yeah, so I hope you can enjoy. Okay.
So we'll move our seats. And so on the next part of our present, there will be some talks between us and you, of course, if you have questions. And actually, there are two stories I would like to tell. One of this is there are 3 of them are classmates 10 years ago. Same grade, and Fuji is their teacher. So it's very coincidence. Yeah, they can be here, and yeah. And during these days I stayed with them, I found a very interesting thing that, for example, Yong-Da, he told me that he in his room in a hotel he can hear some voice far from his room. So it's more than one day he told me about that. So after that, I found he's very easy to hear something, and he also said that it is it's like a problem to him because it's make him hard to sleep. But you can see that that's how he relates to the work, because the work itself is trying to arouse the how everyone senses the sound, how everyone senses the temperature, except like ear or like eyes. Okay, and for example, Kun, yeah. At the first day we arrived at the hotel, he found the door. The security door is broken. So for him, he's very noticed about the detail of the mechanical thing, and we are talking about how about we suggest a hotel to repair the security door. And for Yao, I think the most obvious thing is he like to move. He like to dance around. Like last night, we had after party. Yesterday we are touring around the venue, and he's the one ride the bike most. Yeah, we are some work consisted by the bike bicycles. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you or the artist to tell us more about the digital art scene, generally speaking, in Taiwan, which is quite active. I knew about you, and I knew about some artists through the RAN, which is a digital art network we are both part of, linking more than 50 festivals, media labs, and dealing with digital arts in the world. But to know more about Taiwan and digital art scene, how come that the digital art scene is so developed in Taiwan? Is it in relationship with the university? Do you work with Media Lab there, as we do with New Media, for example, Institute of Research in the University of Mons? Do you have special relationship with art and science? How does it develop?
I think I will leave more time for Fuji because he's yeah.
He has a Media Lab too, right?
Yeah. And we can start it from about early 1990s. There are some private activities. Not actually a very official festival during that time, but there are some events making experiment music or experiment sound. And so after 10 years, around 2000, the Media Art School, graduate school of their school is established. And in 2006, Digital Art Festival Taipei, the first edition of that. And during that time, more and more art students are doing song arts, and more and more artists doing song arts since then. But in detail, I think Fuji has more to say.
Because I understand you also have your lab, like Transonic, right? Transonic is the title of the label we have for City Sonic, so it's funny. Maybe it's not a coincidence.
Yeah. And I teach in the National Taipei University of the Arts. Yeah. And our graduate school called Technology School. Yeah. Actually, it's the first school in Taiwan focused on the media art. Yeah. And
So you have many students doing digital art?
Now, yeah. Now we also have undergraduate student. So we have more young people focus on the media art. I think in Taiwan have many big computer company, technology company. Yeah. And for us, we are quite easy to find the component we need, and also much more cheaper than here.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And about the aesthetics, because it seems that the work is very professional, very specific about the visuals, the relationship with the sound, the intermedia relationship. I mean, would you say that there's a special aesthetic Taiwanese art, digital or sound art? Is it special to Taiwan compared, for example, to Japan or North Korea or South Korea or other countries?
Actually, we found it's hard to answer because we are thinking about this question for days.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because also for the interview yesterday, we were thinking about that, and in my opinion, personally, maybe there I have different ideas. I think it's the very first stage of the development, and you can see three of them has different sides of the how do they think about sound, how do they think about to making material, or through the material to make an installation to have sound. But whether the sound is the final purpose, the main idea of the project, of the artwork, it depends on everyone. So I think maybe they can share their ideas on this.
Specific aesthetic in Taiwan.
Yes.
Or is it quite diverse? Would you say it's diverse or it's
Diverse. I think the sound art scene actually is very young, so actually we not really clear. Yeah, because everything is in progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, so but for us, we can go to other country to have a more communicate with other artists. I think it's quite important. Yeah.
Yeah, because you mentioned that you went to Transmedia in Berlin or also Electronic Linz. Now it's listening. Every festival is quite different, but it's a different exchange, different aesthetics, different sources of inspiration too, I guess. So I guess it's very important for you to be part of this international network, right? How do you develop this relationship? Because you're in charge of the international development for the center.
I just mentioned that it's a very important annual event of Digital Art Center Taipei, that is Digital Art Festival Taipei, yeah. And during each year, during every edition, we propose a theme. Like you can see there are like a newspaper for sure over there. It's last year, and we called it Ecosystem, and it's an annual thing of last year. And this year we proposed the idea of Digitopia, which actually is we talk about Fab Lab, open source, and the co-creativity. And we inviting, not really we call artists, we inviting Wiki House to instruct the buildings in the venue during the 10 days festival. And they will cooperate with the local schools to tell the students how to build the building by themselves. So also the theme of the Digital Art Festival is internationally. So it was composed by about 5 to 7 artists from all around the world, and that is one international connection. And the other would be the regular one would be the residency project in Lyon. Yeah. Yeah. And others are cooperation randomly.
We presented Graham installation some years ago, so we are very friends still with them. It's a very interesting musical center. And but it seems that the relationship for you between digital arts and sound, it's quite natural. digital, there is sound too, and there is sound, there is digital for you? Is that something that you work on? I mean, is it really these two parameters that you try to link?
Actually, there are some ambiguity between these two, and from one perspective, I can say we have some awards during the first edition of the Digital Art Festival in 2006, and I think also because Fuji is the founder, of the Digital Art Festival, also the curator, and before Digital Art Festival in 2006, we have bias, just like the project of the exchange project in Taipei and Belgium this time. There is an international exhibition called Bias, and it's also curated by Fuji. So it's his time now.
I think because our music education is quite strict. Our music education only focus on Western classical music. So
And traditional?
Also Chinese, traditional Chinese music. So actually, young generation like different kind of music, so they also like to try to do different kind of music. Actually, in our education system, we cannot provide any opportunity or any resource. So our school is more focused on digital art. So we can see many sound art, young sound artists also have a digital art background. So maybe,
And I think, as you said, that you are quite young, and so you are all digital natives at the Canadians. And it means that you were born with the digital tools, and that you understand them, and that for you it's quite natural to work with them. And maybe it's more natural also for the Taiwanese people. I don't know, because you are very digitalized, so to speak, to a certain point. Yes. Okay. Yes, do you want to say something?
I want to tell one festival. It's called Lekin Sound Festival in Taipei. Before Lekin Sound Festival, maybe Xinlo mentioned like we made 10 years ago, and on that time we interested about sound art, but we couldn't find some performance in Taipei. From the internet we saw many information from China, from Hong Kong. So we just like a discussion. We can maybe performance together when we have time. So we have a lot. Right. So it's in winter vacation or summer vacation. And I think after 3 times, I heard some audience told like sound art is not only like us, because maybe we are too similar. Like we use computer, we use the digital sound. Maybe the taste is very similar. So I heard that sound, and so I start to want to have another event. It's not only us. I want to call for all the people interested about sound and make some sound. So that's why we start to have Lekin Sound Festival from 2007. And our hope is like we can once a month, and once maybe 2 artists like that. So we running the half year, and I thought it's very strong because we can find 12 artists, some artists in Taiwan. on a moment, but very. I want to tell like this festival until this month still running. It's almost 8 years. I forgot. And at the beginning we are very difficult to find a performance because really less. Like I will ask Chung-Kun like can you play next month or going down, and maybe some artists like can you perform like I need to say like it's not so serious, just play what you want. But
So it's like a platform for people to come and play.
for the young people. And I remember maybe 2010 I started to get many emails from the foreigner artists. They will tell me someone recommend they can contact with me because this event. So it's getting very popular now. Every event easy to full. Yeah, so this event still. So if anyone want to come to
So
Taiwan,
it means that there's a real audience for that. That people are curious about digital arts in Taiwan. That's good. Okay, maybe if there's some question in the, s'il y a des questions in the audience there? Yes?
我想问一下菲利普先生，就是他对于这个思念颂那课，这个因为他主办了13年嘛，他是怎么样有一个想法把声音带到这个整个城市来的？稍微跟我们简介一下。
Yes. And she can translate in French too?
Ah, d'accord. Il demande comment vous pouvez porter le son pour la ville.
Dans la ville?
Oui, dans la ville, pendant 3 ans.
Ah oui, c'est 13 ans. Oui, comment on a fait, comment on a travaillé?
Oui.
D'accord. So how we work the sound in the city for 13 years. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it's a large question. It takes 13 years to answer. But, so when we started here in 2003 in Mons, there was a real opening for contemporary art in the city. It's as you see, it's a very cultural city. It's not coincidence a capital of culture, a European capital now, because you have lots of cultural structures. And it's a real cultural policy, generally speaking. And so they were immediately open to my proposal to say, well, sound can be a link between locations, a link between artists, a link between the audience, a link between communities, because sound is not, for me, it's not something I see as pure sound art. It's never something as pure. Sound is always sound and visuals. Sound and poetry, sound and instruments, sound and music, strangely speaking, sound and interactivity now, etc., etc. So there's always sound and architecture, of course, and as you see, there are lots of beautiful buildings in the city. And so we wanted to make a path, a sound walk in the city, as sound as a link, and to change a little bit all the architectures with sound created specifically for the architecture. So all the artists create specifically in City Sonic for the location. It's never a work that we put like that. Even the exhibition of Ezekiel that you saw yesterday, there were new pieces for that space, for the chapel, even if it's a long work. All the other works are quite new. So it's a risk, of course, because it's difficult. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes today we still have to fix something in the city because it's raining. But it's an adventure. And so people like to rediscover the city with sound arts, with an S, because there's a lot of sound arts for me. It's like digital arts, plural, because there are lots of different aesthetics, not one. And we all are open to different aesthetics. And I think that the large public, usually they don't know about the history of sound art or digital art, even if everything is not digital in City Sonic, but it's becoming more and more digital. And but they come because they are curious. They want to discover the city, or discover the city with sound as a way to create other kind of poetic images, to mental images, as a way to walk through the city in an adventurous and funny way too, because it's not only experimental, it can be funny too. So it's also for kids, not only for adults. Plus workshops, plus concerts, performances, meetings like this. For us it's very important, and also to work with the schools, art schools. We work very closely, and you saw some works, installation made by students that we accompany during the year. Also the university, the Media Lab, the Institute of Research, like what Nicola D'Alessandro did. He's also an engineer, a composer, a musician, and is all that together, and City Sonic, I think, is a good place for that multiple phenomena. And so for us it's quite important to be interdisciplinary and to make links with the sound.
Personally, I have a question to Frank. Because Stephanie, the artist who is coming to Taiwan, showing landscape and digital breakfast. During our chat, he told me it's the 7th time of his participating in digital in City Sonic. And he even called himself by City Sonic Grandpapa. He's the oldest artist joined the City Sonic. And I think it's quite rare to have a long-term relationship. I think, I don't know whether it is on purpose or you just happen to have long-term relationship. I was curious. I'm curious about what is your thoughts on this collaboration with artists, especially for the 7th time.
It's a good example. Stéphane Kozik, who, as you say, is going to be part of the Belgian selection in Taipei in mid-November at your festival. He was first a student, he was first a visual artist and a musician, but he never really did sound art, and so we organized workshops. He was part of these workshops. Then he was coordinating the workshop after he finished school, and then becoming multimedia artist, sound artist, and performances, installations, collaborative works. So each time that we invited him, it was always different, but it was the same person, with a multiple of projects, which I like, because I'm a bit like that too. I'm also multiple and hybrid, something, transcultural. And for us, it's very important to give a platform on the long term for young artists like him, and then not only in Belgium, but also to distribute his works internationally speaking, in Taipei, in France, Spain, Tunisia, Quebec. We have a lot of international collaboration on the long term too, because I think that these artists they need to share, they need to collaborate, they need to see other aesthetics, other experience. That's how it works, especially with the so-called new technology. There's something always new, and something that you need also to integrate to your own personality, to your own aesthetic. So it's very important for you this work on the long term with the artists. At the same time, for example, for this edition you have in total I think more than 70 artists, and maybe 10 already came to City Sonic, but there are 60 new too. So, and maybe they will come back maybe for another work another year. Thank you. So, is there another question maybe? Yeah. No? No? Don't be shy. We have interpreters in French.
因为我想问一下菲利普先生，他有对台湾的声音有任何印象？
对台湾的
声音有任何印象吗？看法，或者是
demande si qu'est-ce que votre vue de le son de Taïwan.
Le son de Taiwan. Okay. Well, I'd like to know more when I come to Taiwan, but I guess it's soon, and I'm looking forward to seeing and discovering other things, because I knew about the festival before I met you through the same network that we are part in, and I think there's something quite coherent between those proposals. And because maybe they were your students, but they're all different. They all have their own world, which I think for me is very important. At the same time, these digital tools, I really, you really know them, and it's really well integrated in the work. But for me, technology is not the most important thing. You can hide it if you want. You can show it if you want. Both attitudes can be good. But the result is the most, and the relationship with the audience, like the poetic aspect, generally speaking, and I think it's quite poetic. That's what I like. It wasn't that cold, clinical, digital work, you know. There's something like human, a bit strange, a bit funny sometimes, or immersive, depending on the work. And that's what we look like, is the relationship with the viewer, with the listener. The listener is also the viewer is also the listener, and the relationship with the locations. Here you have the opportunity to be in a brand new house of design, so we didn't, I mean, those spaces were not here some months ago, so it's brand new for you, for me too. And I think it's quite nice that this house of design is opening with those works. It fits perfectly well. There's something design also in your aesthetics. But so I'm really looking forward to meet more artists, to see other artists, and to create exchange on the long term. And also what I'm happy is that you are young artists, so it's a new scene. And I think what we can bring is also a part of history, because sound art is not new for me, for example. It's like the 40s or 50s, and digital art is a long history too, even if it was not called digital. It can be electronic or computer art, and that's what I teach also at the school when I teach. And I think it's interesting to have this kind of exchange, to have our vision and a certain perspective on what you do, and your vision on this history. And I think it can be interesting for both sides. So are we going to see more then? Okay, concretely. So we yes, okay. So please.
Okay. So there will be 2 performances, and the guide talking about the work of the perception of the diaspora.
It's here at Maison du Design.
Yeah, Maison du Design, and then we are moving there, and after about 15 minutes we met there, starting from the guide of the reception, and then Wang Chung-Kun's performance, and then Yao Chung-Han's, and then Fuji Wang's.
And Fuji Wang will be there at the school,
Yeah,
Carré
yeah,
des Arts, just here.
Yeah,
Because they all need their own location.
yeah. And we have the brochure and also books over there at the table. It's free to take away, and thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
谢谢。
谢谢。